You'd have to be barking mad not to want to see the end of 2020. COVID-19 has made it a dog of a year. Tonight, though, with help from two adorable Labradors, smiles will replace snarls. Olive and Mabel are the best friends of Andrew Cotter, a famous Scottish sports commentator. He was forced off air when the pandemic hit, but refused to take unemployment lying down. Instead, he took his microphone home and made Olive and Mabel his sport. Andrew saw magic in the mundane lives of his mutts, and in doing so, turned them into worldwide internet sensations.
Right, this is where you had your first walk in the mountains 6 years ago. Do you want to go again? You don't? Do you want to go? Yes, you do. Okay, come on then. Here we go. Come on then. Come on then. Come on then.
After months and months of on-again, off-again lockdown in England,
Olive, come here, come here. Close, close, close.
there's no greater escape for Andrew Cotter than coming home to Scotland.
There's a good view over here, come on.
A few years ago, James Bond wreaked his havoc through these spectacular highlands.
Come on now, come on. Here we go.
Today, the scene is more sedate, but no less star-studded.
Bit of chicken at the top. There's your incentive.
And that's because, by Andrew's side, are the world's most famous Labradors, Olive and Mabel.
That's what I used to say to Edmund Hillary. You've got a small bit of chicken at the top, and that's what got him up there.
That was one of the first escapes from full lockdown for us getting out there. So it was quite an emotional day as well because of everything that had been going on, and just getting out and walking with the dogs is that ultimate release.
As you quickly discover, Olive, the black one, and Mabel, the younger blonde, are completely unaffected by this extraordinary tale of dog stardom.
You've just had breakfast. Well, dinner's not for another few hours. In fact, you don't get lunch. What am I talking about?
I've now been joined by BBC commentator Andrew Cotter.
A tale that started when COVID put an end to their master's job as an international sports commentator.
Well, how fitting that it should come down to these two. Olive in her familiar black, 5 times the champion, Mabel the rising star.
Unemployed and bored, Andrew Cotter had an idea.
And now they go, Olive away first, but a problem with Mabel's ball. That might cost her now, having to play catch-up.
Now, ordinarily, there'd be nothing more ordinary than Olive and Mabel eating breakfast.
See the contrast in styles. Mabel heavy tail use.
But Andrew thought by adding commentary, he might find comedy.
Olive more steady, very much of the old Labrador school, eating's a serious business.
He was right.
Bollocks around wagging your tail.
Did all this spring from a bit of that cabin fever?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I was kind of poking fun at myself and my situation, and all of us in our weird situation. So I just decided to say, look, here I am, a sports broadcaster. This is what I'm reduced to, commentating on my dogs having their breakfast.
Olive taking everything, nothing left but the bowl to lick now.
Andrew posted his video online, and the reaction was instant.
Class there from the youngster, generous in what will surely be defeat because...
Millions around the world shared the clip on social media. Even movie stars recognised Olive and Mabel's celebrity power.
So into the final minute and Olive in possession, but this is where Mabel is strong, chasing the game.
Bemused and slightly confused by all the attention, Andrew made another clip.
A glance at the youngster who shows little emotion, but her mind will be empty.
20 seconds.
Game of Bones was an even bigger hit.
And you wonder what Olive is doing here. Only has to hold on. Going to the upright though, high tariff with no opposable thumbs. High risk at this stage. And it's gone, and Mabel takes it. No mercy from the younger dog who takes this...
The size of the reaction were just massive, 50-odd million and still counting.
Yeah, and I didn't expect it to get the reaction that it got. Obviously, it went stratospheric, and then the demands kept on coming in for more of them. And I had nothing else to do, so I didn't do it because I thought this could be an alternative career. What a strange person I'd be if that were the case.
Olive, hi, thanks for joining us. Mabel, you are connected, but you need to start your video. It's down at the bottom of the screen, a little, it's a camera. It looks like a biscuit. If you just nudge it with your nose, you should, there we are.
throughout this, everything has been positive. And I've seen the positive side of social media because throughout this strange year, it's been more important than ever to connect people when they can't connect normally. I think what a lot of people have been feeling in this year is something akin to a bit of loneliness. Because even for the most miserable antisocial person, which I think I probably am, you still miss meeting up with people. And I don't mean to say, hey, I'm healing the world with these two clowns alongside me, but I think everybody needs a bit of a laugh at the moment, and that was what people tapped into with these two dogs. You just stare into the eyes and the ridiculous snout of a Labrador, and you can't help feel a bit happy.
Mabel.
Yeah, what's this? Here we go. You ready? You ready?
It wasn't long before Olive and Mabel went from virtual stars to stars in the real world. And Andrew's life changed.
They get recognised out on walks, that's the thing, I'll be out just walking them and I'll be shouting at Olive because she's doing something really unpleasant. And then someone says, is that Olive and Mabel? So two things happen. I have to totally change my appearance because I've got my severe face on for shouting at Olive. So I go, hey, good to see you, great to see you. Yeah, Olive, love these dogs. And also then I just end up having to let them take photos with my dogs while I just wander on. I continue the walk and I'll say, dogs, catch me up when you finish with your adoring public. Why don't you put your head there? Can you do that? There we go. That's really uncomfortable for me, but as long as you're comfortable, then that's all that matters.
As a parent, it's fairly taboo, isn't it, to nominate a favourite child? Do you have one? And would you say?
No, it's not. You don't have a favourite child, do you? And I don't have a favourite dog. Oliver's the first, and I feel quite a connection with her because she's a little bit more like me in that she sometimes just says, no, I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to go and sit in a corner quietly. Mabel is more open and obvious and easy love. But they're so different. I love them equally, obviously. I have to say that because they're listening.
So now that they're internet stars, because they are, I mean, it's great for Andrew Cotter, but what about Olive and Mabel? What do they get out of this?
They get absolutely nothing. They get my unending love, and they get fed, and they get WALKs. I was about to say the word there, and they would have both been off the sofa, wagging their tails furiously.
The closing moments of this contest to see who can disgrace themselves more on a walk. Olive dominating early on, eating 3 kilos of grass and upsetting a small child. But Mabel finishing so strongly here, taking herself off to stand in this fetid pond just to please herself.
Have you managed to translate any of the success into dollars and cents? You must get some dog food ads out of this, surely. Some sort of...
Well, there were plenty of offers for that, but it just looked a little bit cheap to be doing that thing. I didn't want to be seen to be making them into commodities.
What have you been asked to call on? What have you been asked to put your commentary skills to?
Commercials for rental cars, for yogurt, pizzas being made, commentating on hamsters doing kung fu, but I just didn't want to do it. Again, all this will change in 6 months' time. I'll be selling everything because everything has gone horribly wrong and we're in our 9th lockdown and sport isn't happening. So, remember my morals here and how they go out the window.
Welcome to Phillip Island, Victoria in Australia. What a setting we have for this great sporting contest. The little
While
penguins
kung fu hamsters held no appeal, fairy penguins did.
And away they go. There's the defending champion, wearing his familiar navy blue and white, great waddling style.
When the Victorian Tourism Board needed help to promote Phillip Island's major tourist attraction, Cotter was happy to
There's a
oblige.
familiar face, Skip McIntyre, 8 times a champion back in the 90s, a very successful coach now.
Andrew has a special relationship with Melbourne, where he has extended family and visits regularly.
Others just ploughing straight over it.
We're usually out there every northern winter. And would have been again this year and will be again in the future, who knows when, but hopefully soon. So it just seemed a natural fit. I really enjoyed doing that one, actually.
Oh man, come on. Yeah, come on.
Now there are offers of a movie deal, but Andrew isn't convinced. He's settled on writing a book, and literary festivals around the UK can't get enough of Olive and Mabel.
Sit. Please don't embarrass me.
Well, I'm just writing about my love for these two dogs. They're highs and lows. It's not all a barrel of laughs. There's some melancholy in it as well, because that is life with dogs. They are, and again, I cover their ears for this, they are not with us for nearly long enough. So there's, that sort of sadness, because of the great attachment we have to dogs. It's escapism into the world of dogs, escapism into the mountains, but it's about life as well.
Look at the view. You don't care about the view. You want food.
Back in the mountains, away from their adoring fans, Mabel and Olive seem happiest.
Here we are. Olive, look. Here. Yes.
And you get the feeling it's the same for Andrew.
You want to have a snooze? Snooze. We all want to have a snooze. Take a well-deserved break.
Generally, would you prefer the company of dogs to people?
Well, it depends which people. I'm more a dog person, an animal person than a people person. That's not to say I'm unpleasant. I'm not. I promise you I'm a really pleasant person. But I've always felt maybe shyer around people and more comfortable around animals. I mean, there are a lot of people who are like that.
You're wondering why we climbed up here? Well, it's just because of all this. All this. No, not because of the chicken. It's because of the views.
Strangely, through all this, I have been quite optimistic about the future of mankind, because it generally trends upwards. It's going through a bit of a trough at the moment, but generally there are enough good people to sort things out in the end. And, you know, as I say in the book, try and be more optimistic, be more Labrador, and we could all learn a thing or two from that.
Hello, I'm Liam Bartlett. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60 Minutes Australia, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can also download the 9Now app for full episodes and other exclusive 60 Minutes content.